The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. The goal of all life is death. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. Where it was, there shall ego be. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. The mind is like a sheet of white paper in this, that the impressions it receives the oftenest, and retains the longest, are black ones. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. What we call happiness in the strictest sense comes from the preferably sudden satisfaction of needs which have been dammed up to a high degree. The more perfect civilization is, the less occasion has it for the punitive arm. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. A single idea, if it is right, saves us the labor of an infinity of experiences. The ego is not master in its own house. The liberty of the individual is no gift of civilization. It was greatest before there was any civilization. One is very crazy when in love. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. A civilization which leaves so large a number of its participants unsatisfied and drives them into revolt neither has nor deserves the prospect of a lasting existence. The first requisite of civilization is that of justice. The mind that has lost the quickening powers of mental gratitude and has grown so stupid by the purgative action of selfishness as to expel from his memory a desire to express to all persons, from the infant at the breast to the grave-dipping foot of the aged, by kindly words and deeds, to all persons who have ever thrown a rose, a crude oil lamp, or a soft feather in the pathway of his life, that peace and rest are sweeter than blood or honey. The interpretation of dreams is a great art. Love and work and love, that's all there is. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. One feels inclined to say that the intention that man should be happy is not included in the plan of creation. Everywhere I go I find a poet as being there before me. The manifest content of the dream is the dream as it is remembered, as it was reported. One might compare the relation of the ego to the id with that between a rider and his horse. The horse provides the locomotor energy, and the rider has the prerogative of determining the goal and of guiding the movements of his powerful mount towards it. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? Art is never a means to an end, it is an end in itself. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The ego is not master in its own house. The neurotic is in doubt and has fears about himself. He thinks that he is not good enough, that he is not satisfying the demands which are made upon him. He has secrets from himself and others. If youth knew, if age could. The behavior of a human being in sexual matters is often a prototype for the whole of his other modes of reaction in life. The goal of all life is death. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. The mind is like a sheet of white paper in this, that the impressions it receives the oftest, and retains the longest, are black ones. The mind is not a thing, but a function of the body. The more perfect civilization is, the less occasion has it for the punitive arm. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. A single idea, if it is right, saves us the labor of an infinity of experiences.